Hello, this is Sherman Blackwell, and welcome to this week's program presented by Singing River Mental Health. Thank you for joining me today. It's a very exciting time of the year for us. May is Mental Health Month. It's designated Mental Health Month every year. It's an opportunity for us to raise awareness about mental health issues that cover the whole spectrum of services that we provide, some nearly 40 programs now in Jackson and in George County, and have been doing that for some 35 plus years now. We are this month excited about a couple of things that are happening. One is Children's Mental Health Awareness Week, which is this week, the week that we're in, and we are so appreciative of many of our municipalities, our Board of Supervisors, and everyone that recognizes the significance of raising awareness for issues, particularly with children, because still it's acutely felt in probably every county across this nation. But we are in a particular group because we're still in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, and we're approaching pretty rapidly our hurricane season for this year. And for some people, surprisingly enough, they are beginning to talk about those kinds of things and kind of have some concerns about those issues. And so it's very important that we get plans and information and education out about not only children but Mental Health Awareness Month, where we talk about all of the programs and different things that we do at Singing River in Jackson and in George County. And let me remind you, of course, of the number that you see on the screen there. That number is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's our mainline number, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and serves as our crisis line number the remainder of the time. So we've got a quality staff ready to serve you. If you have any issues, any interrogatives, or need information about anything regarding mental health, we'd be glad to get you that information. My special guest today is Debbie Brockaway. Debbie is the Regional Children's Director for Region 14. And welcome to the program, Debbie.
Thank you very much, Dr. Blackwell.
Glad
to be here.
Good. We're glad to have you. Debbie has been in this capacity now for a couple of months as the Regional Children's Coordinator, but has been at Singing River for 8 years now.
8 years.
8 years now. Tell our audience a little bit, Debbie, about what you did when you first came on board at Singing River and how you got to what you're doing now.
Okay. I first hired on with Singing River Services as an adult case manager. I worked there for several years while getting my master's degree. And I moved into children's services several years ago, working in day treatment services and with children and their families. And my heart just goes out to the children and their families, and I really enjoy working with that group of individuals. And
right, and that's been doing children now for a few years.
Right.
Yeah.
Several years.
Yeah, and recently, as you mentioned, you just earned your master's degree in
family and marriage counseling.
Okay. Well, that fits well with what you do. And you have kind of seen it from the ground up when you talk about case manager, being a case manager. And that means different things in different arenas. Describe what a case manager does for Singing River.
It's mainly supportive counseling for individuals and their families with mental illness, children with serious mental illness. They communicate with the families, with the teachers. It's an intensive case management services that helps these people stay within their community,
right,
and children stay in placements of home with children, with their families, and to keep people out of the hospitals.
Yeah, a lot, and they have to be pretty good resource people.
Right,
on,
right.
You know, getting a lot of information and doing that, and so I know that you did that, and now for for George County, how many schools are we in, and what kind of programs do we run in those schools?
We're in all of the schools there except for 2. We're in all of the schools. Individual therapy isn't. We have a therapist in all of our schools. We have 9 day treatment programs in our school systems there.
Right.
We day treatments in all of our schools except for 2.
Okay.
And
when you say day treatment, what is day treatment?
And it's intensive therapy for children with serious emotional disturbance. And they provide therapy for anger control, impulse control, social skills, those types of disorders in children.
Debbie, how does one come to be a part of our day treatment program? I mean, is that through school, parents, courts, or all of the above?
All of the above. We have parents that call and express their concerns for their child, and we have teachers that refer the children, as well as principals, youth court, just an array of people that are involved in that child's life usually make the referral.
Makes a referral, yeah. And what happens when you get a referral, a child, their parents, or their custodial person, whoever that may be? What's the process?
They get an appointment. We do an intake. We assess that child to see what type of services that child may need. If they need case management, day treatment, individual therapy, group therapy, family therapy, it's just according to what that child, the situation it's individualized.
Right, yeah.
And we determine at that point what the child needs, and we move forward from that point.
I know you and I have a fundamental agreement on things, and some of our, I guess, educational background, and we've talked about this, about the historical process or systemic process through which a child may come. A lot of things these days, well, you said it earlier today, you were talking, people used to, well, these kids, they're just bad. People say, well, they're bad, but they're not bad.
Right.
They have a malady. They may have there may be a historical component about that, a genetic component, there may be a socialized reinforcement about that. So it's paramount that we do a good discovery job to see what may be the precursors to a child's behavioral issues.
Right, right.
So,
right.
And that's very, very, very important to do. And so there are so many good treatment modalities, so many good therapies, and good medications these days.
Right.
I know our psychiatrist for George County, Dr. Hassel's a very competent person, and I know Dr. Davis and Dr. Barnes here in Jackson County, that they're very hesitant they're real cautious about putting a child on medication.
Oh, yes.
Until they can get a good history.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's very, very important to do. Your new position now, and that's one reason I've had Debbie on the program today, is to introduce her to the community south of George County, Jackson County.
Right.
And Debbie will be in the community and has been for a couple of months, but there's some housekeeping issues that you've had to do and going to continue to have to do.
Right.
But your goal for Jackson County is, tell us a little bit about day treatment and the things that are going on in Jackson County and what exactly you want to do.
Okay. Starting June the 1st in Jackson and George County, we have summer day treatment. It will run from July the 1st in June the 1st in Jackson County, and it will run 8 weeks, Monday through Friday, 9 to 2. We transport the children to and from their homes, back to their homes. We also run the same type day treatment program in George County. We have 9 programs there as well. We provide transportation, and those times are from 9 to 2 each day, Monday through Friday.
And day treatment here again, what happens? I mean, some of these children, individuals are already in a day treatment program, maybe an after-school program, and so this kind of is a continuation in the summer?
It is. It's a continuation, and it's more intensive.
More intensive, okay.
During the summer, yes.
How so? I mean, what happens in a day treatment classroom?
Each child has certain target goals that they're working on, target behaviors that we're going to work on.
Okay.
And that is done in a group setting. And children learn from their peers. That's, and it's done in a group setting, and it's more intensive, and we focus more on each one of those individual goals for those children.
And I know the curricula is pretty much a science-based curriculum that is a lot of places throughout not only this state but throughout the nation.
Right.
Yeah. My special guest today is Debbie Brockaway. Debbie is a Regional Children's Coordinator for Jackson and George County, and she has been in with Singing River for 8 years now, and we got her down. We stole her from George County, so to speak. No, we really didn't. Carla Brooks she wouldn't like that if I said that. But you're here a couple of 3 days a week?
Yes.
Okay, so you're really getting focused, and so I've had her on today and to introduce her to the community and by this media, and we're going to have Debbie on from time to time to talk about maybe at the end of the summer to look at the day treatment program and how we're kind of getting revved up for school, because that's real critical. There's not much interlapping, is there, between?
There are a couple of weeks interlapping. That's about it.
Well, that's some interesting stuff. This week is Children's Mental Health Awareness Week, and when we come back, we're going to talk about these green ribbons that we have on and what they represent, and give you some data about children in the state of Mississippi. And then we're going to talk about some other upcoming events like our symposium and some other things that we're going to be doing to raise awareness for mental health issues in Mental Health Month, the month of May this year. So after we cut away and take these short break, we'll be right back. Hello, this is Sherman Blackwell, and welcome back to the second half of today's program, brought to you by Singing River Mental Health. Thank you for joining us today. My special guest on the program is Debbie Brockaway. Debbie is the Regional Children's Coordinator for Region 14. That is our catchment area, Jackson and George County. And Debbie has been very successful in her work in George County. And she's just, we're delighted to have her insight and her skills to work in our, head up our children's program for both regions, and to look at some things that we're doing here in Jackson County. As I mentioned before the break, that you may have noticed these little ribbons that we have on there. A ribbon that signifies that our interest, our concern about children's mental health. It's Awareness Week, all this week, where we'll be meeting with several municipality leaders, and they've got some proclamations, and we are so thankful that we live in an area where people are very interested in doing supportive things for our children, but not only for our children, but everyone with a mental health issue. And we've got some data that I wanted to share with you about the reason that this is just, you have different proclamations, and a lot of them are very, very important, but I can't think of any is more important than when we talk about children's mental health and awareness of that, Debbie, because a lot of times one of the issues concerning mental health is people, particularly with adults and with adolescents, teens, people, parents, whoever, wait, and sometimes a little too long to get involved, or they say, well, you know, it's this problem, or it's that problem, or it's another problem. How important is it that we, as children, that we raise awareness and intervene? What kind of differences do you think we can make when we find an early intervention?
Oh, I think we can make a world of difference. The earlier this is detected and the earlier we get treatment, the more successful these children are going to be. And, you know, the children are our future. That's going to be our next president, you know, our next leaders of this world. So
right.
It's very, very important that they get treatment as early as possible.
As early. And we're talking about children with serious emotional disturbance issues, conduct disorder, and, you know, and many, here again, as we talked in the first half of the program, have genetic issues that, I mean, they may be, have ADHD or some, you know, have been strapped with bipolar disorder at an early age and those kinds of things. And so it's very important, and it affects everyone. It affects everybody.
The whole family.
It affects the whole family, and it's not too far from wherever we are. And here's some of the data that has just come out in Mississippi. This is about mental health Children's Awareness Week. In the state of Mississippi, there are more than 780,000 children and youth under the age of 18. And 1 in 5 of these individuals could benefit from short-term treatment through a community mental health center, school-based therapist, or private and nonprofit practitioner. I think those numbers may be more acutely felt in our 6 coastal areas. Most of my counterparts that I talk to across the state too say the coast looks different than most of the rest of the state. The coast being transit, being a unique and a wonderful place to live. Nearly 36,000 of Mississippi's children have severe or persistent mental health needs that, of course, impact every aspect of their lives. And like you just said, Debbie, not only does it impact their lives, but their families' lives and education, and it can thwart a lot of things that need to be addressed. And the wonderful thing is that it's very fixable. There are measures to take that we can modify and adapt and help families in distress because of children's behavior, and help the child themselves so that they get a fair start, an equitable start with everyone else. And because that's just very, very important. Debbie, a few weeks ago I had Signe Shackelford on the program, and Signe's a young adult and is just a poster child for someone that was thrust into the throes of bad mental health issue and has come out of that and is living a very successful life. So it's very doable.
It's very doable. It's very treatable and very doable.
And it's important. One of the things that Debbie is doing, I know, as she's doing some housekeeping here first, but I know your goals are to get into the community, talk with schools. I mean, you've been very successful at doing that, and just letting them know about the programs that we have. But you know, one of the inroads to that I think is very important is parents. We talked about this earlier today, and tell us a little bit about, you know, educators want to educate, so we can partner with them, because a child's behavior issues gets to improve then they can have a better chance at learning.
That's it. That's it. Educators would, that's their job, and I think they do a wonderful job at educating our children in Mississippi. But when the behavior affects the whole classroom, it's very difficult for the child next to them to learn as well. And we just would like to be an extra set of hands to help with the behavior issues and the problems that arise in the school.
That is very, very, very true, and I think they all will agree with that. And there's a myriad, we won't take time, we don't have the time, of issues. You can't just pigeonhole children with things. They are uniquely individual, and each one has a little bit different story that they're involved with because of their history and because of their particular needs. And so we try to do that, as you mentioned earlier, to evaluate, to look, to assess, to do the kinds of things that we want to do. And one thing that we're doing this month, which is Mental Health Month, of course, we are having our annual symposium. It is going to be May 14th. That's next week. That's next week. That's Thursday, May the 14th. Debbie will be there.
I will.
Debbie will be there. She's going to be down here. So it's an opportunity where we showcase some of our programs. We have vendors. We have like over 15 now. I told it was 15 earlier. I think over that now, which is we appreciate the interest in the community coming in, because we believe that partnership is very important to do that with those that are truly interested in helping children, and we appreciate them so very much. We're going to be there it's at the Gaucher Convention Center. We're going to be there from 10 to 2. We're going to have a couple of notable speakers. Dr. Mark Yeager, who was on this program last week. In fact, Dr. Yeager is an expert in the field of autism, and he is the executive director of the Yeager Group, and they have things like Camp Kaleidoscope. They do the team stuff. They do a lot of things in the state of Mississippi, but he does things across the nation also, very involved in the laws and things that are happening in Washington, D.C. Mark's going to be a speaker, and our keynote address person is going to be Larry Swearingen. Larry is the retired now, kind of, and says he is anyway, retired from the Department of Mental Health after being Director of Community Services there for some 35 years, or in the department for 35 years. Went to NAMI, was the president of NAMI for the state of Mississippi, and then the Mental Health Association also, and he's going to be part of that process. And we want to invite you to come by and meet Debbie, meet our other staff members. If you have questions, inquiries, we're going to have a light lunch that's going to be served. Dr. Yeager will be there, as I mentioned. There may be some of you that are interested in what's happening with autism spectrum. In fact, Dr. Yeager, we have agreed, he and we are going to set up a program here. Of course, we deal with autism in what we do, but we're talking about expanding that, because 1 in every 150 births now is predicted that a child will have some type of autism spectrum. And I think Mark said that has numbers looking at being more like 1 out of 94 before too long. But so that's a tremendous need in our area. And while we're talking about children today, that's just part of what we do. But so as we close out today, Debbie, you got anything you'd like to say to folks out there about day treatment, about our program, about Singing River?
I'm looking very forward to working in Jackson County with the school systems here and the different agencies here that I will be involved with. I'm looking very forward to that, and just helping the children in the community.
Children are children pretty much everywhere, aren't they?
They are.
They are. They have a lot of tremendous needs, and you know, you said something earlier again here today. We have things for parents.
We do. We do.
Tell us a little. I mean, we have parenting classes.
We have
I know that
parenting classes. We have group therapy for mothers and fathers that have problems with their children. We have different types of therapies
Right.
that addresses those issues as well.
Right. And our parenting classes, of course, are free to the public.
They are free.
Free to the public, and so we want to make that. Well, our time is just about gone here again. Debbie, I appreciate you coming down, being here, and as mentioned, you'll be seeing more of Debbie Brockaway, our regional children's coordinator, and been very successful in everything that she has done, and we're looking forward to having her. Mark your calendar for May the 14th. That's going to be at the Gaucher Convention Center, 10 to 2. A light lunch will be served. We're going to give you an opportunity to come by and talk to a mental health professional, get some good advice, hear a couple of good speeches, and hear what's going on not only locally and across the state, but across the nation, because there are a lot of people that are interested and a lot of needs are being met through programs that are coming. And I'm thankful to Debbie, and as I know you are, that we're moving. There's a real paradigm shift away from institutionalization, even though some of that, as we were talking before, is going to always be necessary, but more and more community-based services so that individuals can be treated in their community if they become, because this population is going to decompensate at some point in time,
Right.
50%, and stay in their community and then get back into the programs that they need.
That's correct.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to have you. We'll see you again before too long. And thank you for tuning in today. This is Sherman Blackwell. We look forward to seeing you again next week.